So this video is going to be on the disadvantages of living in the Philippines.
Speed to the city streets, we began to feel the fire.
And the first item that I want to cover here is going to be that, it's you can own a condo if you're single and you're a foreigner. Well, I guess if you're married also and a foreigner. You can own a condo, but you cannot own land in your own name if you're a foreigner. So anyway, that's the first item that I wanted to cover. The second item on the list that is a little bit hard to deal with, would be the traffic. If you're in Manila or Cebu or any other major city, the traffic can be horrendous. You can literally sit in traffic for 45 minutes, and go half a mile if things are extremely congested or they're doing road work or something like that. But the area that I came from in California, traffic there was also really bad, in the major cities. So I guess the other side to that is, even though the traffic is really, really heavy, transportation in general is really inexpensive. You don't need to buy a car. A lot of people will buy a motorcycle, but you don't need to because it's really so inexpensive. And also, if you're not used to riding motorcycles, and the last time you rode one was when you're 20 years old or something, or drove one, it's probably not a good idea to drive a motorcycle in Southeast Asia. That's just my opinion, and but I won't do it for sure, unless maybe if I was living kind of out in the country or something like that, maybe that would be different. But as far as being in the city, being on one and driving it, the motorcycles, gosh, they're right next to the to the taxis and the cars, and you can be going down the street and have some motor scooters handlebars maybe 8 inches from the side of your car, so it's to me it's pretty risky, and I'm not willing to take that gamble. So that's the second item. The third item on my list is going to be earthquakes. Earthquakes are really common in the Philippines, especially in different parts of the Philippines. I grew up in California, so I'm kind of used to the whole earthquake thing. But I've seen some on the news here, some incredible earthquakes. I shouldn't say incredible, pretty devastating earthquakes in other areas. I think Davao was having quite a few just recently. So it's something to, if you're not used to living in earthquake country, make sure, that you don't choose an area that's prone to earthquakes. The next item on the list is going to be typhoons. And, typhoons are really common in the Philippines. And so if you're looking at moving into a condo, or if you're looking perhaps at purchasing a condo, the last typhoon that I saw, and I believe it was Odette, I think, and anyway, I did notice I had come to Cebu shortly after the typhoon, and one thing that I did notice was the upstairs windows in a lot of the really tall buildings it was usually the top 2 floors that seemed to have the most damage, where all the windows would be blown out. And so for me, if I'm looking at moving, renting somewhere, or if I was purchasing a condo or something like that, for me, I prefer to not be on the top floor. If it's a really tall building, the thought just kind of scares me a little bit, or makes me apprehensive. Also, the thought of being on the top floor during an earthquake, if it was really strong, so I kind of prefer a lower floor myself. Not real low, but definitely not on the top 2 floors. It's just my opinion. Let me know if you have a different opinion about that. I'd love to hear it. Because I've never really experienced it, but I did see it when I arrived. There were many windows that were blown out on the top floors. Yeah, the top 2 floors mostly. The next item that I'd like to cover is the poverty in the Philippines. In most of the videos, including mine that you see, you're going to see beautiful beaches and nice pools, that kind of thing. But there is also poverty here. There's a lot of poverty. And so it's just something that if you're coming to the Philippines, just kind of be prepared for it. You will have, people and children approach you for money or food, that kind of thing. It's just, there is poverty here, so it's something to be aware of, and that's the next item on the list. I wish there was a simple solution for that, but I don't know what it would be. So anyway, that's another thing that you will see. The next thing that I wanted to mention is the fact there is no safety net here. You need to always have access to money. If in a lot of the Western world, if you're broke and you don't have food, you can go down and apply for social services or welfare, or you can go to a food bank and that kind of thing, or if you need medical care, if you don't have the money, you'll still, be able to go into a hospital and get medical care, and, you'll be worrying about the bill later, that kind of thing. But here, it's not the same. There is no safety net. If you get over here and you don't have some kind of cash reserves or medical insurance in place, and you have a real medical problem, then you're going to have a big problem, because when you're at the hospital or most medical offices, they want payment up front, to the extent that if they're going to perform any kind of surgery or anything, the doctor will give you a list of items to go purchase. At least this is what I've experienced. They'll give you a list of things to go get at the pharmacy or medical supplies office, and then you pay for those items and you take them back to the doctor. They do have people that will do that for you, for a fee. But yeah, so it's a lot different. So if you come to visit the Philippines, make sure you've got cash reserves or credit. Make sure you've got something, because you don't want to be over here with medical issues and not be able to get seen by a doctor or a hospital because you don't have cash. So it's definitely something to consider, and something I think should be probably at the top of your list as far as being prepared, when you visit the Philippines. Make sure you've got backup reserves of some sort. The next thing that I want to touch on is, don't try to recreate your previous life, when you come to the Philippines. If you're coming from a Western country, you're coming from the UK or the US, any of those places, when you come over to the Philippines or any other country, my advice is, try to embrace the local culture, try their foods, especially when it comes to foods. If you try to eat everything that you had, if you're coming from the US, for instance, or the UK, and you try to eat everything that you ate there, and then, then you come to the Philippines and you expect to have a really large place to live in, and you think that you need to have a really nice car, to impress everybody or something, whatever the reason may be. And I don't mean to sound so negative, but basically, when you go to the Philippines, don't try to recreate your previous life in the country that you were in, because everything's going to be different. You're not going to need a car, unless you're living out in the province or something. You really don't even need a motorcycle, but when it comes to food, if you want to have steak and hamburgers and eat like you did in the West, it's going to cost you a lot. You're not going to be saving that much money. You will save on your rental, cost, for as far as a condo or something like that, but you're not going to save as much as a lot of other people. And the other thing too is, when you rent a condo over here, unless you're paying a lot of money for a larger place, the condos are small. They're 24 square meters, 27 square meters, 30 square meters. So I once in a while I'll get a comment, actually it's more than once in a while, but the comment will be something like, wow, this place is a shoebox. It's so small. And it's like, yeah, but maybe maybe you're going to have a ocean view, or, the rooms are small, and they're not going to be so spacious in general. But that's why I say, don't expect everything to be the same as the way it is where you're coming from. You've got to be flexible. If you're not flexible, it's not going to work out for you. So you've got to have the mindset where you're not stuck in, your old ways. It's just my opinion. Because if you come with that mindset, you're not going to enjoy it. You're going to have a negative outlook. But if you embrace it, if you embrace the culture, take advantage of the great prices, the beautiful beaches, the beautiful people, you'll be glad you did. So the next item that I wanted to talk about here is taxis. When you get in a taxi, either agree on the price ahead of time or make sure the taxi's on a meter, because otherwise you're just going to pay too much. So I usually make sure that the meter's turned on. It's at the front of the cab, in the middle of the where the stick shift is, or the shift. So make sure Usually the white cabs I find I like, and they're less expensive usually, provided that they're using the meter. And yeah, or some people like Grab. And but if you're actually staying for any amount of time, yeah, sometimes it's cheaper just to go with the meter, yeah, rather than Grab. So that's just my opinion. You know, I think that the advantages of being here far outweigh the disadvantages, and I do believe that it's a good idea, you know, to don't just go by what you see on YouTube, you know, by all the different YouTubers, and go to the country, visit it, you know, any country. Go to several places if you can, you know, and see what they're like. And because every place, you know, is different. Every person has their own things that are big deals to them, and different things that they like and want. So yeah, visit. I think you'll love the visit. There's so many pluses. Things are so much cheaper. You know, but again, I did want to cover the disadvantages on this video, because I had done one previously on the advantages. So I like to try to show both sides of everything. Anyway, hey, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully this gave you a little more insight, and have a great day or evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. Thank you again. Bye.
To the city streets, we began to feel the fire.